September 11, 2001, a Tuesday morning that changed America forever. A day of horror, loss, and resilience. Even decades later, the cause of that mornings are still felt in the way you travel, the way government operate, and even in the way people see each other. But how did one morning alter the course of history? Let's go back to the very beginning. It was just after sunrise when American Airlines Flight 11 took off from Boston. Heading from Los Angeles, 92 people were on board that morning, 11 crew members and 81 passengers. Among them were 5 men with a deadly mission, led by Muhammad Atta, a 33-year-old Egyptian trained in aviation. The hijacker storms the cockpit within minutes of takeoff. Atta seized control and steered the jet toward New York City. At 8:46 a.m., the plane slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, tearing through the 93rd to 90th floor. The world thought it was a terrible accident. News anchors speculated a small plane had lost control, but the truth was far worse. Just 17 minutes later, the nightmare-deepened United Airlines Flight 175, also bound for Los Angeles, had been hijacked. At 9 a.m., millions of people watching live on television saw the unthinkable. The jet liner slicing into South Tower, holding to flames. But now, there was no doubt this was not an accident. The United States was under attack. Far from New York, President George Bush was visiting an elementary school in Florida. As he listened to second grader read a story, his chief of staff leaned over and whispered words that would define the era. America is under attack. Bush sat still, absorbing the weight of the moment before calmly continues with the class. Those 7 minutes of silence would later spark years of debate. Meanwhile, American Airlines Flight 77 had been hijacked after leaving Washington at 9:37 a.m. It plowed into the Pentagon, the headquarters of America's military. A massive fireball engulfed the building, killing 125 inside, along with all 64 on the plane. But the attackers were not finished. United Airlines Flight 93, headed from San Francisco, was also hijacked. This time, the passengers learned of the earlier crash through frantic phone calls with their families. They realized their plane was part of the plane. Ordinary Americans made an extraordinary choice. They rushed the cockpit, determined to stop the hijacker. Their last known words, "Let's roll." At 10 a.m., Flight 93 crashed into field near Shanksville. Everyone on board was killed, but the hijackers likely targeted the White House or the United States Capitol was spared. As smoke poured out of the Twin Towers, thousands were trapped inside. Firefighters raced upward, climbing stairwell filled with smoke. Strangers helped strangers escape, And then its tragedy struck again. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower collapsed after burning for 56 minutes. At 10:28 a.m., the North Tower followed. Manhattan vanished under a rolling cloud of ash and debris. Nearly 3,000 innocent lives were lost in less than 2 hours. The world was in shock. America shut down its airways. Vigils were held in every corner of the globe. In the day that followed, Al-Qaeda was named responsible. Its leader Osama bin Laden first denied involvement, but later claimed full responsibility. Life after 9/11 would never be the same. Airport security was overhauled, liquids restricted, shoes removed, laptops screened, reinforced. The Patriot Act gave the government vast surveillance power.